Hello. I'm here to talk about sustainable happiness and how that is increasingly important, and I would say even critical in our society today. But yes, we get to talk about happiness. So now it can be seen that we measure technological and economic success, and it's often how we define ourselves. And it's true, it's everywhere around us. Just a short while ago, the smartphone was just the blink of an idea, but now we can almost do anything from the palm of our hand. We're increasingly interconnected, and we're always looking for the next gadget, the next social media phenomenon, the next economic model that will change everything. But I want to ask, with all these changes and advances in thinking and doing, what is it and why is it that so many of us are feeling more disconnected, more stressed, and more alone than ever? Society has a definition of success, that's true. But what kind of things do we need to sustain and grow in order to create a future where everybody can thrive? This is what has interested me and is very close to my heart, and it's what I've been researching for the last couple of years, and I'll tell you how it all started. I was sitting across the kitchen table with my own teenage daughter, and as she was pushing food from one side of the plate to another, she said to me, "I'm stressed out. I want to be happy, but I don't know how." How to be happy? Shouldn't that be simple? I started speaking with all the experts in positive psychology, neuroscience, and mindfulness. And I was looking for some answers. And when I examined the trends, some of the things shocked me. So today, I want to talk about the necessity of cultivating inner growth, progress, and happiness, and how that can show up in our outer world. And we'll do it two ways. One, looking at the trend towards gross national happiness. And the second is on a personal happiness level. What are some things that we can actually do in our own lives? So I suspect there are some of you in the audience who are saying, what is all this happiness stuff? Is it fluff, superficial, a utopian dream? I would say no. It's what gives meaning and purpose to life. It's what connects us through our ages, all ages, through cultures, and through backgrounds. It is the foundation, it's the aspiration, and it's the celebration of all of us at our deepest universal yearning. Aristotle said it best. Happiness is the meaning and the purpose of life and the whole aim and end of human existence. So, I suggest that in order to fix the outside, we absolutely must address the inner life too. What if happiness was a strategy? And what if, in order to fix the problems that we see in the economic and environmental world, we had to have a strong inner foundation too. Otherwise, it's just like putting a Band-Aid on a festering wound. Gross national product is no longer working. That way of measuring goods and services sold and material gain, it is antiquated, it's an old paradigm, and we need something else. We're missing a vital aspect, and that is the inner life. And this is something we absolutely have to address, and this is why. The World Health Organization predicts that by 2020, depression will be the second largest cause of human suffering. And if we don't do something proactive, by 2030 it will be the main cause of human suffering, and that is across the world. across all socioeconomic backgrounds, all genders, and all ages. So, we can talk about the outer environment, and we do have to address that, but what kind of inner environment are we creating when about 20% of teens will experience depression before they reach adulthood, and where every 2 hours and 11 minutes a person under the age of 25 commits suicide? This is insanity. So how many people are shocked by that number? I certainly was. So happiness is something that we're all looking into all over the world. And I wanted to see what's going on in other countries that is working. So it seems that some of the things are connection and community, more equal access to education and healthcare. And another thing is trust. So going on in Denmark, they did an experiment where one person had a wallet with $50 in it, and he went into a public place, I think it was a train station, and he deliberately dropped the wallet. And what happened? Hordes of people ran after him to give him back both the wallet and the money. How many of you would be pleasantly surprised if that happened in your hometown? So you'll notice, let me get back to that. You'll notice that the US is not even in the top 10 of that list. And although our GDP per capita has tripled since 1960, the level of happiness has not even budged. So what does that mean? More money after a certain level of sustainability, survival, and so on, more money does not equate to more happiness. So GDP is not working. What else is out there? I wanted to find out, and I have been learning about Bhutan. So Bhutan has introduced the idea of gross national happiness. And that means that the country's development is measured not only by its economics, but also by the happiness of its people. A not bad idea, right? Human happiness and well-being must be included as new benchmarks for growth and development. In the UN, Bhutan has been very active lately, and they had a meeting on happiness and well-being as an economic new shift. And the Secretary General there, Ban Ki-moon, said something interesting. He said, we need a new economic paradigm. And that would include the 3 pillars of sustainability, that social, economic, and environmental well-being are all indivisible. I personally love that idea. I had the opportunity to go to the Rio +20 UN Conference on Sustainability and sit down with the Honorable Prime Minister, Jigme Finlay, and ask him about the policies that he is adopting for a more holistic attitude. And this is what he said: I see this as a reflection of a world finally coming to terms with the truth that it needs a shared human vision in place of the mindless pursuit of limitless growth in a finite world. So that is an idea that I found very appealing, especially the shared human perspective. And what his words are a reminder that we all have that inside of us to tap into, that shared human vision. And that's where it starts. And there is hope. There is movement in different countries. Most of you might know about Costa Rica. UK is doing a lot of great work. The OECD in Europe is moving along. And even in the US, there are the beginnings of initiatives from the federal level right down the community level that we can include well-being as a new economic model. So I'm happy about that. And there are, pardon me, I'm using my notes. My dad is in the hospital and I have not had a chance to memorize, so I'm going to look at this from time to time. So, even the World Happiness Report talks about that we need to develop new strategies, new technologies, new lifestyles that improve our happiness. So let's talk about how to do this. Okay, factors that influence your happiness. 50% is genetic, that makes sense. 10% is from the environment, and that could include where you're living, the kind of job you have, your circumstance. But a full 40% has to do with the intentional activities and the thoughts that you engage in. So what does that mean? You can boost your happiness up to 40% just by the thoughts and the practices that you engage in. This has huge implications. And for those of you who are saying, happiness, I want to be more productive. Well, there's someone at Harvard named Sean Anker who did some studies that your brain at positive is 30% more productive than at negative, neutral, or stressed. So what we have is when we are at positive, we release a flood of dopamine, the hormone, into our system, and that actually activates the learning centers. So what do we need to do for our bottom line? Activate your happiness. And there are 7 practices that I want to talk with you about that you can actually take home. And these are from the world of neuroscience and positive psychology. And what I want to say is that you do not have to have a PhD to do these. These are mostly intuitive. They don't cost money. They don't harm the earth, and they are inclusive. Anybody of any age can do them. At Project Happiness, the foundation that I founded, we are teaching these skills to schools and communities in over 57 countries and growing. And the great news is that the research shows that they are effective. So here's the first practice. Gratitude. How many of you keep a gratitude journal? This is something so simple. You can just write 3 things that you are grateful for, and you begin to notice them more. And in time, or in 28 days, something that you repeat becomes a habit. So this will actually substantially change your happiness level. Move it. Okay, everyone knows that exercise, jogging, etc. raises your happiness level, but I'm going to share with you a little exercise that my dad inspired. He was like, your mother is driving me crazy. I need something to relieve my stress. So, okay, let's think of something. This was it. Let go. I want everybody of you to try it. Everyone breathe in the word let, and breathe out the word go. One more time, let go, and let it go. One more time, let go. And you can do this in traffic. You can do this before an important meeting. You can do it anytime. Relationships rule. The return on your investment from engaging in meaningful time with people that you love is greater than what you'll get from any purchase ever. So make time for the people that you love. Be here now, mindfulness. Take time to notice through your 5 senses even all the magic of life. And another aspect of mindfulness is try not to be on the phone and on your computers when you're with people that you want to be with. I have to confess, I'm working on it. It's a process. And then forgiveness. Well, there's something called this critic mind that always is at the back of most people. And it's saying things like, I think I gained a little weight. Or, I messed up that thing, whatever it was, I'm an idiot. You know? So have a little self-compassion. That goes a long way, and that's an aspect of forgiveness. Another thing is that when serious stuff happens, as it does, there are two questions to consider. And one is, what did I learn from that situation? And the second one is, how did it make me stronger? Finally, not finally, but to feel good, do good. There was an experiment done where people were given money and they had the choice whether to spend it on themselves or others. And the ones that spent it on others felt significantly happier, and they also wanted to repeat the behavior of giving again. In other words, developing sustainable happiness. So I really believe that people at equilibrium want to be kind. And spread the happy. Happiness is contagious. So you take this guy at the top, and he's pretty happy. He encounters somebody else, and they get to be 25% happier. The person that person meets up with is 10% happier. And then the third person that they meet up with becomes 5% happier. So this has huge implications. That means that if you take the time to cultivate your happiness, your own, you will influence the happiness of 3 other people. So think about that. Think about what kind of social change that can instill. And my question now is, can we bring forth the best of our human nature and hence influence the best in others? Can we use these tools to create a civil society? I am convinced that we absolutely can. Happier people are more energetic, more productive, healthier, and more generous. Happier people they can actually ride the ups and downs of life. They have resiliency, and hence they have the inner resources to create policies that benefit communities. It's all about connection. And I believe that connection, that says compassion, but it should read connection. Connection has to do with 3 levels. Connection with ourselves, our inner compass. Connection with others, and that can be in small acts of kindness, volunteering, and connection with something greater, however that is defined. A reciprocity of people for the earth and all living things cannot happen without a deep connection and spiritual perspective. We need to let go of the past, and we need to remember that every day is the beginning of the future. We need to develop a caring of people for people, of cultures for cultures, and a respect for all of life. You are more powerful and more influential than you can imagine. By you activating your happiness and really taking it on, you will share it with others and create changes in this world. You have everything inside of you, and you have gifts that you can share. One of my favorite quotes is by Howard Thurman, and it says, "Don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive, and then go do it, because what the world needs is people who have come alive." And if I leave you with one idea today, I want it to be that you hold the keys to sustainable happiness, because you are all agents of happiness. Thank you.